packet.
Let's go ahead with the department and the updates. Mary Ellen, we'll start with you, Director.
So we had our adoption event this weekend. We received, I think it was like 22 applications. One of the issues with the application is we do require, if you rent, that you give us a copy of the contract that says that you can adopt an animal to have at that residence. So in the end, we adopted out 4 cats, 4 dogs. Obviously, we'd like to see that kind of take off here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to probably have a couple events in October. Right now, we sell a lot of kittens. So we have 54 animals in the building, which may not seem like a lot, but it's actually quite a bit for us. We have almost all of our adoption dog cages filled up. And then, as I just said, we have a lot of kittens. Kittens from 2 weeks old to just, the upper age of kittens. So I think we're probably going to see if we can transfer a few of the kittens this week because we have so many kittens. And then we are going to readdress all those applications that came in that we're still waiting for something on, whether it's the homeowners or the rental agreement. We are still getting a lot of relinquishments. I think that's why we have 54 animals. So we adopted 8 out over the weekend, but we have 7 coming in between tomorrow and Wednesday. So it's pretty much everyone we're adopting, we're kind of getting one in. And I think that's just how it's going to be right now. Most of those are moving someplace else for their jobs or have to go back to work or have changed jobs here and just can't have the animal for that amount of time. In a cage, I'm sorry, for that amount of time. And then a number of them are owner-requested euthanasias where the animal is older, quite sick, and obviously we are being particular about which ones we agree to take on those owner-requested euthanasias. We still have tough time getting people in for jobs. You have to be really quick and turn them over very quickly. We might interview them, we've got to do the background check, we've got to check the references, and if you don't get the background check or the references back very quickly, you might lose them by the time you're offering them the position. So we're trying to be more efficient in that, but it's just really difficult sometimes. I would say of 10 people we call in a week, also only 5 of those call us back to set up the interview. We have our vaccination registration events coming up in October, and those are filling up. I imagine we're probably going to fill our dog, maybe not our cat, and if we don't fill the cat one, then we will add some dogs in there, because we usually have a wait list for dogs. I think that's really all I have. Oh, and then the last thing is the same thing I've been telling you for a little while now. It's just that struggle with the vaccination registration packets from the veterinarians. They are low staffed, they are behind. We are low staffed, we are behind. So there's just some piles of packets, and we're still trying to get another worldwide person in to assist us with that data entry. So that's what I have on my list today.
Any questions for Director Hall? Is there anything that can be done remotely to maybe get someone that doesn't, maybe that's an opportunity to take advantage of, getting staff to work remotely from an electronic standpoint?
Are you talking about just to catch up on our packets or in general?
In general.
I think in general, if we get to a certain level of staffing, our plan is to offer some of that.
Okay.
A few of our office people periodically will take some extra time and work from home because everybody has their laptop and work on those packets. But we also have to have enough people to go into the field to answer the actual phone and then to take care of the animals. So our goal is to offer that opportunity to work from home a little bit more. We're just not quite at that staffing level yet.
I just didn't know if there was a computer function that took away a lot of that job duty from people that you need to utilize while they're in-house to just hire somebody that would just strictly work remotely doing digital entry.
The data, yeah.
Data. All right, thank you.
With the backlog, is there any risk of losing that revenue? In other words, it didn't get entered in a timely fashion?
Most of that, the money is actually getting entered. It's just the packet itself, the information getting into the system.
Okay.
So when we get the check, we do deposit it right away. There is a little bit, I would say about 8 vets that we invoice, and we have to put those in before we can invoice, and that's our priority, obviously.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry about that. Anything else? Director Nair.
Thank you. We'd like to welcome Melissa Machado. She's the new administrative assistant. She is currently working in Crystal Lake with Darlene, who's doing a great job training her. She goes by the name of Mimi, so we will not have 2 Melissas. Little confusion there. The COVID-19 booster policy, the division directors have discussed it and are recommending updates to the current COVID-19 policy and the personnel manual. We are requesting that we go by CDC guidelines and that all employees are up to date, meaning they get the bivalent vaccination. So we'll be bringing that forward soon. Cultural competency training for all staff began this week. An email went out to all of the Board of Health members as we have 10 seats left. If anyone is interested in taking that, I sent out emails last week. So please let me know as soon as possible so that I can get those taken care of. I can input that for you if you'd like to take the class, so just let me know. We have 10 seats open only on November 4th of 2022. That'll be from 8 to 11:30 a.m. and it is virtual. So you don't have to go anywhere, you can do it at home. We are currently updating all job descriptions. We're reviewing right now, and we'll be doing that prior to employee reviews. The bid on the answering service for after hours has gone out. We expect to get the bids by the 30th to review them with the department directors, and hopefully we may have a very new one soon. Let's see. And that's about all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for Director Nair? Thank you, Director Nair.
So we had a really good recycling event here in Woodstock on the 17th. That's the one where the city picked up the cost utilizing their bag tax for any Woodstock residents to recycle their monitors and TVs for free. So I think we had an extra 200 people or so that took advantage of that. So it was a very nice event. We have one more coming up on October 15th, and we're working on a residential tire recycling event also for end of October, early November. We're meeting with our Solid Waste Advisory Committee next week to review the solid waste plan update. It's required every 10 years. So we are reviewing that with them, and then we'll bring it back here, and then through the county board review and approval process. Melissa and Susan and Ann and I met with County Finance regarding the point of sale system. They will be actually taking over the RFP process, and because it will be a county-wide system, but the health department will be a priority department for that since we're so large, and we're very interested in moving forward with that. And then Susan's going to update when it gets to her on the illness outbreak investigation.
Thank you. Any questions for Patty? Thank you. Manager Mianskowski, I'm going to get this name right. Say it for me one more time.
Mianskowski.
Mianskowski.
The income and expense statement for August was included in everyone's packet. Did anyone have any questions in regards to the income and expense?
Anyone?
No.
No. Anything you want to point out? Or?
How are we doing?
Yeah.
So year to date, our expenses were $4,000,007 versus a budget of $9,000,002. Again, it's favorable, because of timing. Looking at August itself, expenses were $546,000 versus a budget of $772,000. Income over expenses were,
Good evening, can everybody hear me?
Yes, Jake, thanks for joining us. We're just getting a report from Henry right now.
I finally got it, sorry about that, thank you.
No worries, glad you joined us, thank you.
for August, income over expenses were $241,000 versus a budget of $298,000. And year-to-date, income over expenses were $239,000 versus a budget of $3,005,000. And again, that's because of just timing difference, because of the fiscal years. We have grants that cover different fiscal, the fiscal years are different periods, so that's why we have the timing difference there.
Thank you. Before we go on to Susan, since we'd like to have Jay participate in the meeting, we need a motion to allow him to participate remotely.
I move that we approve that Jay can participate in this meeting electronically.
Second.
Thank you.
I can move in second.
You can't say anything. Can that be a verbal? You can't talk yet. Darlene?
Mr. Clerk?
Yes.
Ms. Carmen?
Yes.
Ms. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Morosky?
Yes.
Ms. Gavin?
Yes. Now you may participate. Did you have any questions for Henry?
No, none at the moment, thank you.
Thank you.
Henry,
And we all wish that your wife is feeling better.
for clarification, Henry,
I absolutely appreciate that, thank you.
you said that to date we've spent 4.7 million and we have 9.2 million budgeted. That was your first statement.
Yes.
That's our overall health, correct?
Yeah, this is the year-to-date for the entire, for all divisions.
Okay.
Yes.
And our fiscal year ends November 30th.
Correct.
So we're sitting pretty good.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Henry? Director Karas?
Thank you. So to update you on the DC Cobb's outbreak, the investigation is ongoing and we're working closely with environmental health. We had a great response from the public survey, so we appreciate that type of response because it's really instrumental in the case control studies that we use for outbreaks. We're hoping to wrap up this investigation very soon, and we'll be preparing our final report. Once that report is completed, we are committed to meeting with the restaurant operator to go through that report with them in detail and be available to them with any questions before we release it to the public. Monkeypox, we have scheduled 2 outreach clinic locations, one at Uprising Bakery and one at MCC. We had the Uprising on 9/20. We'll be returning there in 4 weeks to do the second dose. And tomorrow we will be holding a clinic for the monkeypox vaccine at MCC. And we'll be returning in 4 weeks after tomorrow to do the second doses there. As of 9/22, our community level for COVID is now low. So we're excited about that. Our case incident rate is at 106. Admission rate is 9.6. So that puts us at that low level. We have received our COVID bivalent vaccine. We've had it in stock for several weeks now and have been offering that at our booster clinics. That's all I have.
Are you able to share with us the pathogen for the outbreak?
We are withholding that until the
Okay.
final report is released.
Thank you. Any other questions for Dr. Karas?
Has the illnesses been resolved or is it continuing on?
The outbreak is still considered to be ongoing because we have to do 2 incubation periods. That's all I can say.
Okay. No, I understand. Thank you.
I was curious, Susan, I was gonna ask during the item, but did Uprising reach out to you, or did you guys reach out to them? How did that
Well,
partnership
how that all
come to be?
happened was, whenever we're looking to reach hard to reach populations, we do reach out to our community partners that work with those organizations or clubs. And that Uprising Bakery was suggested as a trusting location in the community, so we did reach out to the owner based on that referral from a community group, and she accepted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What was statistics from a percentage of vaccination with the Omicron vaccine for the county, do you know?
They do not split that up right
Okay.
now. The last update I got from our epidemiologist Ryan was they're not showing the breakdown of the bivalent versus the other boosters yet. He's anticipating that that's going to come in the future, but it's not posted as far as the difference between the two at this
Have you
time.
seen like an uptick in vaccinations?
There is a
Okay.
slight, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other questions? Jay, did you have any questions?
No, none at the moment.
All right, thank you. On to the consent agenda, do we have?
Cindy?
I'll keep it quick.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't know why.
So just a couple of things. In your packet from out of admin, so there is an error on the number of open positions. It should be 19. But we have filled some of these since this was put together. But if you were to add them up, it's not 21, it's 19, so just wanted to point that out. This Thursday, the county is having a special meeting to discuss the budget after Public Health and Community Services, so in case anybody's interested in tuning in. We have also drafted some preliminary ARPA projects and presented that to the county. They have made a request that we tweak that a little bit, include some additional rationale. So once we have that down, we will bring it back here for your review and hopefully approval to bring that back through the county process. Patty talked about the point of sale system, and you may notice that work continues on building A in terms of that exterior. They call it an exterior envelope rehabilitation project, so they're continue to work on the roofing demo and installation right now, and they are expecting, based on their last email, that the window installation project will begin in about 2 weeks. So,
Thank you, sorry, you didn't sit at the other end of the table, so I don't miss you next time.
So Melissa, can I ask, so the ARPA detail will come after
I mean, I'm happy to
Thursday?
share it. I think, so.
I'm just wondering if I missed anything in preparation for Thursday's.
I haven't looked at the pack, is there a packet up posted? So I'm not sure at what level of detail ARPA is getting discussed with the county board.
Right.
I think in our initial pass, we had included things beyond, say, what was tied to the ISC report. We've been asked to just kind of build in some of that rationale for why we were asking for some of these things. I think we had some notes, but they would like us to expound on that.
Yeah, there's
Nothing posted yet?
no, they're just agendas,
Okay.
no packet, but there's a packet.
So it's my understanding it's not being approved per se.
Right.
And I have said all along, you know, in conversations with county that needs to come here first, but we wanted to have that preliminary conversation to make sure, like, you know, are these the kinds of things that we're looking at? And some of the things that we have put in there, an example being some renovations to the Crystal Lake facility, right? We plugged in a number, we don't know if that number is precisely accurate, right? And considering building costs right now, we could be off. So we haven't taken it a step further to really look at or request proposals or get quotes for some of these things. So we are taking our best estimate.
And we won't be voting on anything on Thursday, I was just curious. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. On to the consent agenda. Is there anyone that wants to pull anything out for discussion? we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
A second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Darlene?
Ms. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Morowski?
Yes.
Ms. Harmon?
Yes.
Mr. Galati?
Yes.
Ms. Gaffney?
Yes, thank you. Contracts and agreement, 6A, resolution authorizing the emergency appropriation of $35,000 in funding from Holuna Health to McHenry County Department of Health fiscal year 2022 budget, item 51.
So the 51, so this is a nursing request, and 51, just at the end, so you know, I probably should have said, your agendas look a little different this time. So we are, our goal is to utilize eScribe, which is the new system the county is using for streaming meetings and all the agendas, so that it matches, right? We used to have, in Minitrack it looked a little different, but this way, what the county sees and gets posted on the county side will look exactly like what we present to you. So that has changed. So I probably should have pointed that out. So 51 is the Department of Health. 52 would mean the TV program. So anytime you see 51, that helps them identify that it is a Department of Health related request. So when that big agenda comes out, they see that number and will require to put that in.
Great, thank you. So who is going to speak to this appropriation? Susan?
So this is some grant dollars that have been awarded to the health department. It is like a sub-grant that was given to the Illinois Migrant Council to address health equity issues in our county. Part of the contract is they were required to work with the local health department in their jurisdiction and to give us a portion of that money to help with them and provide our expertise on that development of those plans. So this $35,000 is what has been given to us. We are definitely going to use it towards personnel to offset the general fund for the individual that will be assigned to work with this project, as well as the mileage for them to go to and from meetings with this organization.
Great. Any questions for Susan?
And how long is this position for?
Hold on. It's not a new position, we're gonna be offsetting it.
Oh, okay.
Where's the Board of
Okay.
Health summary?
Okay.
Yeah, there's not a date.
There's no,
Oh, okay. Alrighty. I thought it was a new position,
is
but
the
it's just,
contract not in there? I'm not seeing it. The summary in the contract is not with the resolution.
It should have been in from last week. I don't have a packet.
The summary is there, but not the contract.
well, here's the contract. Yeah,
There's a contract in there?
Yeah,
Oh, there it is,
yeah.
it's the second item.
Yeah, it looks like it'd be
So
one.
there it is, July
Okay.
19 to May 19.
Okay, alrighty.
No, we're looking in the packet.
Oh.
I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see it now.
There's
Okay.
like two things you gotta
Yeah.
click on, I was
Yeah.
clicking on the one. So it runs from July to May
Okay.
of next year.
Okay,
So
do we
it's an
have a motion
existing,
to
we're not
approve?
adding a position, it's an existing position
Okay.
that will be assigning to this project, and we'll just offset their salary from
Okay.
the general fund with
Okay,
this,
alright.
these grant dollars.
Okay, because I was like, oh, that sounded big salary. But okay.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the resolution. I'll move to approve. As written.
Sure, I'll second.
Joel,
Oh, you want, I'll second. Sure.
Yeah.
any further discussion? Darlene?
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Galati? Mr. Galati?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Morowski?
Yes.
Ms. Harmon?
Yes.
Ms. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Gaffney?
Yes. On to item 6B, resolution authorizing the emergency appropriation of $25,000 in award funding to the McHenry County Department of Health fiscal year 2022 budget.
So this is another grant dollars that are coming from a subcontractor. The Centers for Minority Health Services has given that they're using Champaign-Urbana Public Health District, who we actually are going into contract with them. They have a refugee, immigrant, and migrant program in their county, and they reached out to counties. There was 5 counties that were identified as having an increase in that population, in order for us to learn how they dealt with this increase and creating a center for them to get services. McHenry County was identified as one of those counties. So we were awarded this money to work with Champaign-Urbana Public Health District to learn how they develop this center and how they provide services to that population.
Any questions?
Do you know how the dollar amount is identified?
That, I think what they did is they identified the 5 and just split it up evenly.
Do we have a motion to approve 6B?
I motion to approve resolution 6B as written.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Darlene?
Mr. Galati?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes?
Ms. Harmon?
Yes.
Ms. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Morosky?
Yes.
Ms. Gaffney?
Yes. On to item 6C, Uprising Bakery and Cafe, a memorandum of understanding.
So this is just the understanding that we have with Uprising Bakery to have the monkeypox clinics at their location. Basically what they're responsible for as far as providing this location, and then we would bring all the supplies in and take them out and provided security.
I don't think we need to vote on that since we've already started it, do we?
We should vote on it.
Yeah, and do we want to just explain, because there was no quorum on Monday, last Monday, the clinic was on Tuesday, we said that I would just go ahead and sign it, but we would bring it back here for
Okay.
formal approval, but as Susan said, there's going to be a second clinic, so we want to close that loop.
Got
So
it.
under the circumstances, we do that.
Sure.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve Uprising Bakery and Cafe memorandum of understanding?
I'll move that we approve the memorandum of understanding with Uprising Bakery and Cafe dated 9/12/22.
Second?
I second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yes, if I could just ask a question. So I noticed there were no dollars attached to that contract, so then we just, can't think of the word. But
Subsidize?
we just pay for it out of our funds.
Yes.
So,
Thank you. Good question. Darlene?
Mr. Clark?
Yes?
Ms. Morosky?
Yes.
Mr. Galati?
Yes.
Ms. Parrish?
yes.
Ms. Harmon?
Yes.
Ms. Gaffney?
Yes. 6D, Animal Legal Defense Fund Collaborative Project. Mary Ellen, I'm guessing that you?
So we've been awarded a grant from the Animal Legal Defense Fund. That grant includes the partners of the State's Attorney's Office, the Sheriff's Office, Animal Emergency, which is CASE, our county vet, Hooked Animal Humane Society. We have about 5 local law enforcement agencies that are looking to participate. And the goal of that is to bring us together in November for training on animal cruelty investigations. That would be specifically the Humane Care for Animal Act violations. And then after that, there would be some collaboration, obviously, between some of the local law enforcement and the Sheriff's Office and us on any cases that come in. And then they would provide some support for that and some tools. So tools might be a kit to do some of those necropsies and lab testing that we need to do in those animal cruelty cases. We're kind of putting those lists together of what we need and what we already have. And then I met with the chiefs meeting last Tuesday to talk to them about it. And like I said, there was about 5 who are for sure interested in coming. We already have 2 that already came to our meet and greet back in May. And I think once this is for sure, and we send out the date and the location is going to be at Hooked Animal Society, I think that we will probably get a few more of those law enforcement agencies. because we've just provided, or we're about to provide, I should say, 26 microchip scanners to all the local law enforcement. And so that was part of that meeting for the chiefs, was talking about that in the collaborative, and they seem to be very interested in collaborative. At the end of the collaborative, what we'd like to have is this toolkit, right? So that anybody out on the street who has to do an animal cruelty case knows what's expected of them, what is expected of us. So we had a recent case where the person wasn't quite sure what they had to do for the court documents. So this will give them a nice package of all the things that they need to do and what their responsibilities are and what our responsibilities are.
Question, so I know in the past, having been an animal investigator in the state, there's always been that with the sheriff's department and a state's attorney's office, I don't want to say a disconnect because that's not the right word, but a better understanding of how to implement that through the court system and who's doing what and who's challenged to assist in
Yeah,
a better.
So we work very closely with the state's attorney's office. Civil works with us on a lot of the documents that we need to do, and definitely if we have to do any warrants. Jim Newman in the criminal has been working very closely with us on any criminal cases, the Humane Care for Animals Act cases. I just met with the sheriff and the undersheriff the other day. They are very interested in participating in the training and getting some of those support documents to help their trainers, train the trainers, right? So I mean, I think we have a good group that has been very collaborative in the last couple of years. Now we just want to tie it together.
Sure, no, and I'm not saying that, I probably misspoke when I was saying that, I know you do, but I think in the past, and maybe that's improved, is that when something occurs, getting someone to respond to it has been kind of up in the air if you needed like assistance. Whose job is it to respond? Is it the sheriff's department?
I think we've been doing a good job of
Okay.
clarifying that.
Okay, good.
And I think this coming together just makes us clarify even
No,
more,
I think it's great.
especially with the collaborative.
I think it's
When
great.
everybody's on the same page.
And how are, Norm, how are the courts receiving animal welfare, cruelty charges, things these days? Because I know it was a long road to get them to understand, you know.
I think we've had pretty good fortune. I wouldn't call it luck, but I mean, I think the courts are receptive. On the civil side, when we go to get administrative warrants, I can't remember the last time we've had one turned down.
Oh, that's great.
I don't think I ever have that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's great.
the judges all seem very receptive to it.
Oh, good.
And you have to understand, there's a lot of attention. When there's an animal cruelty case in the newspaper, we get more calls on that than on murders, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And the state's attorney's office just got us a felony last year.
This got a
On a
what?
very important case, they got us a felony, so,
Oh, great.
or got all of us.
Well, and like I
Not me,
said,
not you. The
I'm
felony
glad to
conviction,
see that, because it's been a while since I've been involved. I mean, it's been since the
I mean, obviously, I want to make sure everybody understands that we are the Department of Health, so we are looking for people to comply, right? We don't want to get a warrant. We don't want to charge a person. We want them to learn what the responsible thing to do is and do that. But sometimes we have to take it further than that.
well, and, you know, for edification purposes, the Department of Ag really is, they license humane investigators, but it's typically just on paper. They can only document the situation. They don't have any enforcement policies, and that falls on you and the sheriff's department or someone who has the control over that. But the humane investigators absolutely have no ability to enforce anything. They can write a violation, but they can't do anything else. So I know they've got an upcoming training program coming up as well for humane investigators, but I think they're short-staffed as well.
We're about to lose our representative for our county.
Is it James? No, what's the guy's name?
He's gonna be the, Jake.
Jake, yeah. So we
I'm here. I keep getting the internet is not that great today. I apologize. Sorry, one more time.
What are you missing?
Yeah,
It was an incidental reference to Jay. It wasn't to you,
Sorry.
Jay.
that, yeah.
Yeah, it was they have
Not from the state.
Department of Ag has a representative that covers our county for inspections for animal shelters, animal control, pet stores and things like that, and according to Mary Ellen, he's leaving.
Cook County doesn't even have one right now, so they're struggling too. Everybody else.
So where does that then, you're the only one that really has the bite, and the sheriff's department has the bite to put on if there is
I
a
spoke to the
school-
state the other day, and they are still taking the complaints, and we're trying to just make sure that we're doing them in collaboration,
Okay.
and they'll send somebody else if they need to, once Jake has left.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Mary
You
Ellen?
have to apologize for myself. I am not familiar with the Animal Legal Defense Fund. Is that a government-run program?
No, it's
or-
a 501c3. I do have a brochure here for it. if you'd like to
And what's their
see it.
funding mechanism?
They have private donations.
And what's their mission?
Their mission is pretty much kind of the same as ours is. It is in regards to prosecuting, but allowing people to either negotiate, right, and come to an understanding of what they need to do, or prosecute it the correct way. I mean, they've been pretty pleased with what they've seen coming out of our county so far as the cases that they've been seeing.
Is this a national organization or state?
It's all over the country, yes.
Yeah, I just pulled up their website, it says the Animal Legal Defense Fund's mission is to protect the lives and advancing interests of animals through the legal system. The Animal Legal Defense Fund accomplishes this mission by filing high-impact lawsuits to protect animals from harm, providing free legal assistance and training to prosecutors to assure that animal abusers are held accountable for their crimes, supporting tough animal protection legislation, fighting legislation harmful to animals, and providing resources and opportunities to law students and professionals to advance emerging fields of animal law.
So while Joe's looking at that, I was wondering, I noticed that they're out of California. So is someone coming from California to do the training for the collaborative, or is it gonna be virtual?
They're coming in November at the beginning to meet with the state's attorney's office, law enforcement. I think the veterinarians will be at that training as well, but then they're coming back again a week later to meet with the veterinarians in a clinic setting so they can go over some of the different types of testing and such that they would need to do.
Is there any fiscal responsibility on our part?
They are giving us $59,000, but that is majority of that is to be used for the actual cases, for necropsies, the veterinarian's time, the large animal vet time, the equine veterinarian time, and our contractual vet's time.
So this doesn't say, is it a memorandum of understanding for the $59,000?
I'm sorry?
Is this a memorandum of understanding to accept $59,000? Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Mary Ellen?
This is for the training. Is it limited to training, or are we agreeing to be a cooperating agency with this Legal Defense Fund?
We are agreeing to be a cooperative agency with them. We would be meeting with them once a week to talk about the different cases that we have going.
Norm, do you see any issues with?
No, we reviewed this MOU, and it's an organization, not every county is as concerned with animal welfare as this county. And I think your department's done a really good job, really trying to protect animals, or if animals aren't being protected, getting them out of that house and prosecuting. But not every county is that way. I think we may be fortunate to get this because we are kind of, I would almost say, the lead of the prosecuting and the animal welfare. We didn't see any problem with the MOU. We still maintain control of the cases. The sheriff was concerned that there was a requirement that the sheriff would work maybe too closely for the sheriff. So he said, I'll support the mission 100%. He gave a letter, I think,
Yep.
saying that. But he did not want to sign on to the MOU, which was fine with the organization. My understanding is
Yep.
they're fine. It's just,
They didn't understand our process.
yeah, it's really, this is really to try to coordinate the best possible outcome for animal cases. And we use them as a source for information or for some skills if we don't have them.
I think it's gonna be very supportive of what we've already done over the last 6 years, and gonna help us solidify again, coming together with that collaborative group. And then I think ultimately, we would like to see ourselves as somebody else would, in the county, in the state would replicate. So what we put together, we're gonna be pushing out to other counties and animal controls to say, you know, this is what we think is important, this is what we put together, we think this would be helpful for you.
There are some animal welfare organizations which I would be very concerned about and would object to. I don't know enough about this organization to object, and so based on your recommendation and our attorney's recommendation, I will support the memorandum of understanding. But I have, my ignorance on the organization does give me some concern.
Have they done this with Cook County already?
No, but actually, we're the first time they've done this. They went out nationally for applicants, and we were chosen.
Oh, great.
So we're the first, we're sort of like their dry run.
I mean, just for a little history of everybody, Illinois is on the forefront of animal welfare as a state. McHenry County was the first county in Illinois to approve trap neuter return as a humane alternative to killing cats. So, good job. Are you inviting anybody from other counties to attend, just to get an idea?
That was my plan, was to see if some other animal controls in our area might like to come in this region.
Any other questions from Mary Ellen? So can we have a motion to approve the Animal Legal Defense Fund Collaborative Project Memorandum of Understanding?
I'll move to approve the Animal Legal Defense Fund Collaborative Project Memorandum of Understanding.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Darlene?
Ms. Parrish?
Yes.
Mr. Galati?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes?
Ms. Harmon?
Yes.
Ms. Morowski?
Yes.
Ms. Gaffney?
Yes. The final one is 6E, under contracts and agreements, McHenry County College Memorandum of Understanding. Ann, is that you?
That's nursing. It's for the other monkeypox.
Oh, the monkeypox, okay, thank you.
Same agreement.
All right. Anything you want to add to it? Okay. We have a motion to approve the McHenry County College Memorandum of Understanding.
I'll move to approve the memorandum of understanding with McHenry County College, effective date September 20th, 22.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Anything, Jay? All right.
Can I ask, how it's being, besides the press releases, how are you communicating out that these clinics are available?
We're using those community partners, their Facebook pages, they've agreed to put them out, as well as the establishment, like MCC is promoting it within the university or the college.
Thanks. No further questions.
Thank you. Anything else? Darlene?
Ms. Harmon?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes?
Mr. Galati?
Yes.
Ms. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Morowski?
Yes.
Ms. Gaffney?
Yes. Item 7, new and unfinished business. 7A is employee appreciation resolution. Melissa?
Yes. I'm not sure what happened, but what we have in eScribe, it does not match what is in your packet. So something has happened. What I would like to just let you know is, so we're bringing this proclamation forward in honor, asking to set October 10th through 14th as McHenry County Department of Health Employee Appreciation Week. There is one difference between what you have in the packet, and again, I'm not sure how it happened because it does appear to be correct in eScribe. There is one more whereas that you don't see. It's the first whereas, which is our mission. So we added that at the start, whereas the mission of the Department of Health is to protect and promote the health, safety, and well-being of those who live, work, and play in McHenry County, and the whereas is continued from there. So I apologize, I will get you a clean copy, and I'm happy to read the whole thing if you would like, under the circumstances. There could have been a glitch because it is accurate in the system, so I'm not sure why an older version is showing in your packet.
Thank you. Okay, so do we have a motion to approve the employee appreciation resolution as amended?
I move to approve the proclamation to establish Employee Appreciation Week for 2022 from October 10th through October 14th.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Darlene?
Ms. Carmen?
Yes.
Ms. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Morowski?
Yes.
Mr. Galati?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Gaffney?
Yes. 7B, ordinance amending Articles 1 through 6 of the Public Health Ordinance.
Are we gonna keep it right to you? We have some
Sure.
options.
So I didn't know, Mr. Clark, since you were on the ordinance committee, if you wanted me to go through, how much you wanted me to go through.
Am I the only one that's from the ordinance committee here?
I am
guess so.
too. I am.
I guess I will speak on behalf of
Am I
that then.
Did I not go or why not?
I'm not certain.
I wasn't there,
You might have been out of town.
probably.
For the board, staff has presented to us their recommended changes to the ordinance governing the Department of Health. They reached out to the community with the changes. They posted them online. They conducted meetings, multiple meetings for the public to review and offer comments. They listened to what the public said, made some additional changes as a result, presented it to the ordinance committee, at which we reviewed it and approved them, and we recommend to the full board for adoption.
Thank you. So,
You're certainly welcome if you want to fill in any of the details.
Yep,
or-
we have a couple of things, if that would be helpful, we can kind of run back through stuff. Okay, so give me a second. Oh. That's why, they are open those.
So as Mr. Clark said, we did try to reach out to anyone who might have any interest or be impacted by entering the proposed changes. So this would be a list of those groups that we did reach out to, in addition to posting on the website. So it does include our regulated communities as well as, professional associations and community groups. In addition, we had 2 public meetings, one here in Woodstock, one in Crystal Lake. We had one attendee at each one. They happened to both be county board members who attended, which we appreciated. And then we had 2.
Wasn't me though, sorry.
And then we had 2 meetings for our food establishment operators and our water well contractors and soil classifiers. So we had about 25, 26 people attend those meetings as well. So this is a summary of the comments that we have received by article. The greatest number was with our wastewater and sewage treatment and disposal ordinance. That's not uncommon. Most of those actually came from one designing engineer, so I appreciated his very thorough review. We have responded, so we summarized all of those. I think they're in your packet. I have also provided a response to each one of the individuals who offered a comment. And they have acknowledged receipt of those. We haven't had any further discussion. So, as Mr. Clark said, 23 of those comments were actually incorporated into the ordinance as changes. So what is pending right now, I'm hopeful tonight that you will be able to approve these and move them into the county board approval part of the process. But we are still waiting for our complete review from the state's attorney's office. And then I am in discussion with the Illinois Department of Public Health regarding our water well program comments. I have received them back, so I am required to get approval as a local certified health department representative, get approval for the water well and the sewage. Sewage has been approved, the food one is fine, and we do have some disagreement on the water well ordinance, primarily in response to a couple items that have been previously approved that he has now asked me to take out, and so we're discussing that at this point in time. So nothing really substantive in terms of regulation of our community, and our well drillers are supportive, so that's where we're at. And if we do have to make any further changes based on the state's attorney's office comments or the state health department, we'll bring them back and bring those back to you again. So these are our next steps. If we have the approval tonight, we'll then go to the county board process, and then these are the committees. So Thursday would be in front of Public Health and Community Services. I have asked Adam Wallen, the Director of Planning and Development, who's checking with the Chairman of Planning, Environment, and Development if they would like us to present there. In the past they have. It's not required as part of the process, but certainly private sewage and water well ordinances, they do impact development, so I like to bring those to their attention. Then it will go on to 30-day review, and my hope then is that it will be voted on at the November meeting, November 15th, with a December 1 implementation date. So that is, the summary of that. I have another presentation where I could, if you'd like, go through the specific substantive changes to each of the articles. That is up to you if you would like me to do that. It's also summarized in your packet. So I leave that to you, or I'm happy to answer any specific question you have.
On behalf of the Ordinance Regulation Committee, staff did go through item by item, and the members of the committee were very comfortable with the outcome of the presentation. If that gives you any direction, if you want to hear it all again tonight, or you want to listen to the committee's recommendation.
You would like to make a motion then?
I will move that.
Can I ask a question, or do that after the motion?
We'll move it after the motion.
I will move to approve amending Articles 1 through 6 in our ordinance for our public health ordinances.
Give a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I just have a quick question that caught my eye. I think it's, I'm just looking to see, it might be under comments, I don't know. I was just curious, so there's a comment about changes dog running at large fine to animal running at large on school property, and I was just curious what other encounters besides dogs. I could see if we were in Australia, maybe a kangaroo.
I'm sure Mary Ellen has had one. Goats.
Oh, okay. All right, just, it caught my eye. Thanks
The
for
benefits from living in McHenry County.
Yeah, thanks, yeah, I guess, and then that's the difference of the urban versus rural expansion, expanse of the county.
It could have been a buffalo, for all you know.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, yes, that's right. Okay, well, yes. Well, thanks for humoring me. I appreciate that.
Any other further discussion? Darlene?
Ms. Carmen?
Yes.
Ms. Morowski?
Yes.
Mr. Galati?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Ms. Parrish?
Yes.
Ms. Gaffney?
Yes. I know we have executive session tonight. Do we have any other board issues? Just for clarification, Jay is not allowed to participate in executive session. Jay, did you hear that?
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
Because you're remote, and it's executive session, you're not permitted to join the executive session.
Got it.
But thank you for your participation. Is there anything?
Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Jay.
Do we have a motion to move into executive session?
I'll move that we go into
Thanks for
executive
using WebEx. Visit our website at www.webex.com.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know, I
Okay.
heard Mr. Clark made.
I
I'll
made-
second,
Yeah.
I made-
Yeah,
I'll second.
What are we discussing?
The minutes,
uh, minutes and personnel issues,
okay.
2 items.
We have to vote, we don't have to vote on that, do we? And move into executive.
You do.
Darlene?
Yeah.
Thanks, Norm. I
We
always
have to take
forget.
a roll call.
Thank you.
1 second. So first we have to, she has to, there's a little delay now in the system.
Okay.